Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. Got a special episode for you today. I'm so excited. I'm joined by my good friend, Mark Roberts of the Dead Cards, and I've got Chase and Sam Dudley of A Cut to the Chase Productions. And we're going to be talking about the upcoming feature Locked In. So welcome, everyone.
Thank you. Very, very honored to have us on.
Yeah. I'm so excited to talk to you. So I'll start here because I watched a little bit of Beast of the Field today. I haven't finished it yet, but talk a minute about the premise to this movie because that's what got me. You know, I looked at that and I thought, this is something I got to watch.
Beast of the Field is about a group of amateur documentary filmmakers that go on this expedition trying to hunt down and track down the mythical creature, the Thunderbird. And lest there's poor judgment and not being completely honest, hires this team and letting them make it seem like there's something really much bigger than what it is. And what I found about ironic with this is I think it's relatable to a lot of artists because you hear a lot of people brag and talk the talk that we got, sci-fi, we got Netflix behind us, and then sometimes that does not be the case or whatnot. And I just wanted to have it relatable to where when a lot of people watch it, they were like, I know somebody like that. It was like kind of the con artist that you love, but you realize that he really had good intentions behind it, but he just was so obsessed with finding this mythical creature, and it just and that's the good thing about it. It has some really relatable characters in it, and not to mention we shot that movie in a hurricane.
Did you really?
Yeah, I blame Amber Dawn Fox because I blame Amber because a week before her shoot, she called and she said, "Hey Chase, I'm going to go ahead and head out to Kentucky because Hurricane Florence, which is 2018, she said it was head towards the Carolinas." And I was like, wow. So we of course didn't have that budget in our movie to so we did a GoFundMe to try to get her accommodated early, but things ended up working out where she can come out. And then the hurricane took a U-turn and it followed him.
She brought the hurricane.
Yes, I'm sticking to that story. And
Mark, does that surprise you? That doesn't surprise me.
No.
Look, it literally rained for
like the whole entire shoot,
single day. And I don't mean just rain. I mean like
it's like Forrest Gump rain. Like it rained upside down.
Awesome.
We all was falling.
I felt twice.
So if you see some like slips and falls in the movie, that's not acting.
I know what's going on. So do we see the Thunderbird?
You have to definitely watch the movie.
Is it Mark dressed up as the Thunderbird?
Well, yeah, you have to watch the movie. It's a very different movie, and we've never done anything like that. I've always wanted to do a movie where it was completely outdoors because I'm a nature guy. And during the spring and summer, me and my wife, we take the kids and we go outside. We don't like to be at home. So it was nice finally being able to do a movie where 95% of the movie literally takes place out in the wilderness, which I'm a big reptile guy. I have a basement full of like 200 reptiles. So I'm always out in nature.
Yeah.
And I'm very blessed that she allows me to have all of these critters.
That's right. That's right.
But you know what I tell him? If it gets out, I'm going to stomp on it.
She's not going to do that. That's not a good thing to say to the public. Now you're going to have animal rights activists and PETA.
That's right. That's right.
I don't do snakes in my bed.
No, I don't blame you. I'd probably just move if they got loose and I was living there. I'd be out.
Well, hopefully we're not canceled after this video.
That's right. That's right. So talk a little bit, Chase, about how you got into entertainment. What made you want to do what you're doing? Just give us a little bit of background.
It's weird because I don't really know. My parents tell me since I was a kid, I always tried to steal the show. Like I was always entertaining them. And I remember before, because we grew up very, very poor. And I didn't have a camcorder. I didn't get one until I was 15, but how I used to make movies before then, I used to literally have a tape recorder and we used to record ourselves acting. So it was like one of those things you had to listen to it. And
it was like an old time radio show.
Yes. And finally, my parents bought me a camcorder at 15 years old. And I can't tell you the level of how many times I got in trouble from filming. And when my friends come over, we're sitting there making a movie and they're trying to go to sleep 3 o'clock in the morning. We have Michael Myers doing a chase scene and I accidentally break something and they're coming down like, what the hell is going on down here? So like they laugh at this stuff now because like, they were like, I always knew you were going to be something into that. In my early 20s, I'd done pro wrestling because it wasn't really much of an outlet to do acting. So that was my way of acting, was pro wrestling, because a lot of acting to it. So
yeah, that's pretty great. Did you do theater or anything in high school?
Yes, I did. And the one play that I had, I froze.
What was the role?
That's how I knew I needed to make movies, because the live thing don't work for me.
Oh, wow.
I bombed. It was like worse than 8 Mile.
Well, do you remember the role?
Yes, I was supposed to play a cross-dresser.
Oh! No wonder you froze.
It was like the whole entire school came, and when I went out there, I shouldn't have looked into the crowd. I did. It was everybody there, and I got stage fright. Yeah.
And yet you stayed with it in the entertainment business.
Yes. Well, I always wanted to, film has always been my passion. I always used to want to be an actor. I watch movies still to this day and act out every sequence and stuff like that. She gets mad at me and tells me to shut up, and she's trying to watch the movie, but I'm trying to watch the movie. Everything. Yeah. I can't just watch the movie. But I understand.
It's funny when we're not watching a movie. It's hilarious because he sounds just like Adam Sandler, and then he sounds like
I can't do that.
He does. Well, yes, you do.
The Joker.
The Joker. He does all kinds of. Yes, he does. Don't let him tell you that. He sounds
I believe you.
He can sound like The Rock. He can sound like.
I can't sound like The Rock.
He can sound like The Rock, the guy that played Joker. Both characters. I think it was Keith Ledger and the other guy.
I even did a Facebook Live video on the set of Locked In.
Impersonations are hilarious.
Steve-O dressed me up as Heath Ledger's Joker, and it looked pretty good.
He even does this thing too, where he'd be talking to somebody, and it's completely off subject, but he makes it part of the conversation, but then he sounds like Keith Ledger. Does that make sense?
I'm random.
That sounds awesome, actually. What was your wrestling name?
Mr. Showtime Chase Daniels.
Chase Daniels, okay.
And I remember I used to wrestle in Tennessee and like the really like Eastern Kentucky, where I used to like really make rednecks very upset. They had a few drinks and stuff, and they'll get so wound up. And I always played the bad guy, you know.
I was gonna say you were a heel. I bet you were a heel.
Yeah. Because I know how to work the crowd and get people like angry and upset, like where I used to have security get me out of the
that's awesome,
because people are trying to kill me. That's didn't quite know that wrestling is acting.
So Sam, how did you two meet? How'd you get together?
So I was in college. I was actually in college to become a doctor. That quickly changed.
Yeah.
But I was also a musician. I used to go to events and stuff. So I was going to school on top of college, and I was doing events and things. And I was an R&B artist. And I was a singer.
Did you sing?
Go to venues.
Oh, she can sing. This girl got soul.
Yeah, nice.
Like she's so soulful. When people listen to her music, they look at her and then look at the music. Like,
yeah,
you know that look. Like, Like it's impossible for her to be soulful. And it's
No,
not
that's
like,
awesome.
it's not a color thing, it's where you come from thing. Look at Eminem.
So
Yeah.
I also worked too. We both worked. This is before this became a business, and you know, now we don't have to work. But back then we had to work, right? We had.
You still have to work 100 hours a week.
I worked at UPS. He was a security guard there, and I was I worked in the warehouse.
So I pulled her to a side and told her I needed to do some
I shrugged him off for
investigation.
2 weeks, and then finally one day he called me. He said, either you're going to let me take you out on a date, or I'm going to move on. And I said,
all right.
I thought that was hot, so I said, okay. Because he had the balls to say that to me.
Hey, sometimes that's what it takes. You gotta step up.
Oh, I know.
It can also go the other direction.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Hello. Oh.
Yep, you're back. I was like, somebody just got smacked in the head.
Oh no. No, we're safe here.
So that worked. He stepped up.
Yes, he did.
Well, so did you know, like right at the beginning, that what you were getting into, that this was going to lead to this, production company and all of making these movies?
No, I didn't actually. For 2 years, he was already doing film, and I kind of let him do his thing, and I did music, and we kind of did our own thing for a while. And then I didn't even know I would fall in love with it until one day he called me up and he asked me, because I used to basically create folders for him when he would go to film.
Yeah.
And I'd organize his stuff, and I'd say, okay, here's your binder, here's your coffee, blah, blah, blah. Go do your thing, right? Okay, so I didn't know anything about film. I didn't know how to do a schedule, nothing. No, I didn't even know what a scene number was. Okay, so one day he called me and he asked me to help him with his schedule. And then I ended up contacting other people, and then he put me in touch, and then he told me how a script works, and then that's how it all happened. And I don't know how I did it, but I stepped onto a set and fixed whatever was going on, apparently, because it turned out pretty good. Then I got into it and I did my research. Then I got advice from some of his people and from him, and I fell in love with it.
What a great pairing. I mean, that.
What do you mean, my people? Okay.
He's talking about you, Mark.
Yes.
And,
no, that's so great. That's so great that you guys are able to work together like that. And it sounds like you're a really cohesive team. Like, my guess, Chase, is that if you didn't have Sam's help, you would be in trouble.
Yes, very much so. Before she came along, I've gotten screwed over many times. There was people who literally tried to film or steal my movie. Well, I mean, just like with paperwork and just, I mean, filmmaking is really like tedious, and you meet a lot of sharks. She does a really good job of protecting. She's business smart. She knows law, and I would be a total wreck without her. And there was times where she seen me getting screwed, and she saw me like cry in her room after I gotten screwed over all the time. She's seen those tears. She's seen those.
I've seen him go through quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then that's when I decided to help him start a business. And that's how Cut to the Chase began, because I got tired of seeing him go through too much pain. So
that's awesome. That's so are you, like, when the situation requires it, are you the tough guy? Do you have to step in?
No, she's totally the tough guy. I think everybody knows that she's a tough guy. I'm not that muscle. I don't.
Listen, I can be really cool, okay, but just
she's straight
don't
to the
mess
point.
with him. That's all I say.
Yeah. So you get to do the Oh, I'd let you do it, but Sam said no.
People on set knew that because they were like, "Hey, Chase, can I go? You need to talk to Sam."
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And don't ask me because when she got that look and I'm in trouble.
I saw it.
Yeah, Mark,
saw
you were
it.
there. You were there.
No, it's
I
not
saw it.
controlling. It's not controlling. Like everybody has a thing that they are. Like I am good at talking to people. I'm good at smoothing things. You're good at like being cut and dry and need to get to the point.
Yeah, she's getting things done.
Well yeah, you get things done. I mean,
oh goodness.
So Mark, you were on set. So what kind of set are they running? They got it pretty smooth. Is it in shambles? What's going on?
Well, it was my first time on set, but yeah, it was pretty awesome. It was I think there was a good dynamic with everybody working there. Chase he's going around meeting everybody. And I saw what they're talking about. I saw Sam get in that mode, and I was like, oh, somebody's in trouble.
Oh my gosh.
Two of the people left.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I of course, when I'm on the set with everybody, I always want to thank people for, especially as early as we had that call time, which was like 4:00 in the morning.
Crazy.
I wanted to thank everybody for being there for one, because I would have been in bed. But just meeting people and seeing people and just seeing a whole bunch of people come together for oneness, it's just the most incredible experience. And I think this what got me so driven into filmmaking is that people come together, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different genders, and all come together for one greater good because they want to make some magic. And that to me is the best thing about filmmaking is it takes teamwork, and you cannot do it by yourself. Sam will have an idea and I won't see it at the time. And then 10 minutes later, I'm like, wow, I see what you're talking about. Or it's just and Locked In, it was that perfect cast and crew where everyone was the same way. Everybody wanted to make the absolute best project. And it was the most rewarding experience as a filmmaker. And I've been making movies for a long time, but that was the first experience where I cried when we wrapped, because it was an emotional, and first time I seen Amber cry without me telling her to on a movie. And and just everybody was just super emotional, and it was just that big ball of energy, and that is something no experience, nothing can take away from that.
That is something that you want on every set. And
Sure.
and I mean, when I say family, that's what we created on the set of Locked In. Because everybody came together, and we've done what, five movies together. So this is the first time that we've ever seen an experience like that. And I was on that Sunday when he came. I walked in the door and I seen so many people there, and I was so shocked.
We were
I wanted to amp everybody up, so I got on that little speaker and I started talking to everybody.
Which she's never. I mean,
I've never done that, because I was just so excited,
and that goes to show that we've really came a long way. Because I mean, our first movies, we'll put a casting call for extras, and it will be our cousin, or it'd be it'd be crickets, and you're like, okay, so we got to find another way to shoot. Sam, get in there and put a hat on. But this time it was just people, and it's and then finding out that some of these people travel from West Virginia, and some people came from North Carolina.
Wow.
And then some people came from almost Fort Wayne, Indiana, and it was just these people came for because they believed in us, and and Amber's got such an amazing following, and just anything she is so good at networking with people, and just that dynamic is just a very special experience from an actor to a director that they can have, because the relationships between a director and an actor is super critical. Because if an actor doesn't open up to you or trust you or anything like that, then you might not get the best result from that. But That's my first experience from working with Amber until like working with her on this film. I just felt like we had a great relationship in Beast of the Field, but this like the relationship on this film just seemed like a lot more. It's like we didn't question each other or anything like that. Like we'll be thinking something, we're like, yeah, or you can try that, and she's like, yeah, okay. And I teased her because I picked up on a habit, like when Amber already knows something and you're kind of telling her something, she always goes, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't realize she did that until I pointed that out to her. So if you ever talk to her and you listen, and she listened, and she just do that.
You just gave her tell.
Well, I posted in a comment of hers earlier. She was saying something, and I just went, yeah.
Hilarious. That's hilarious. So talk a little bit about what is Locked In about. What's the story?
Locked In is about, it's two stories to it in one. For one, it is about two women on opposite ends. You have this woman who is more like very religious, that's been abducted, and she's into human trafficking. She's been exposed to a whole bunch of stuff she never knew. And then you have the opposite end, which where the nightclub scene came for, where Mark was at, where she's an exotic dancer, and they both had to come together, even though they have all of these differences about them. They had to come together for the greater good, for survival mode. But it really addresses a very important issue in this world that's going on right now, and that's human trafficking.
Yeah, that's terrific. That's terrific. So who's playing your two women?
Amber Dawn Fox is playing Madison, and then we have Nalia, which, can you please help me with her last name?
Don't be mad at me, Nalia, if I butcher your name. Okay. I think it's Shakavora.
It is Shakavora. There we go.
Oh, really good.
Nice. Yeah, she plays Melanie, and they both really played off so well against each other. And I had to say, one of the more like cool things about the film was working with Robert Mukes. Just watching him on HBO series Westworld, and then watching him on, NCIS, and then of course
Tomahawk was the one I loved the most.
Everybody knows him from Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh, of course.
And just like knowing all of these experiences that this man has played in, and he is the most humble man you would ever meet. He is so cool. Like he is so like calm and just. And then, like,
he's like 8 feet tall.
When he gets excited, he gets super loud, and his voice, like, his sound bars can go through you, and it's just like, yeah, Chase, yeah. And then he'll barely touch, and you're like, oh.
But it's reassuring.
Yeah,
I mean, when he talks to you, and he's
coaching you,
you can hear the passion in his voice.
Right. Yeah.
How did you get him to come on the film? How did that come about?
Well, he messaged me, and we almost worked together on Beast of the Field. He was almost Bigby, but of course, at the time we were trying to make that a union film, and due to the stunts and that required, SAG declined the project being union because the stunt coordinator that they wanted, we could not afford, and it just tripled our budget, and we ended up having to shoot it non-union. So of course Robert Mukes at the time was union, and he, it didn't work out. But he messaged me earlier this year, and he said, "Hey Chase, I'm thinking about doing non-union projects." And of course I was like, "Can you speak into my good ear? I thought I heard you say you're doing non-union, So I was like, Sam, we got to make this work. So yeah, I pitched that to our investor, and we got him on board. And then it just one great thing led to another, and then we were lucky enough to book Lynn Lowry, and we had some amazing people in this project, and just working with people. I mean, Lynn's been working longer than I've been born. So
yeah,
just seeing like her and Robert just work, it was just like, wow, I was learning. It was like free education. Well, it wasn't free because I was paying for it, but it was
bonus. It was bonus.
It was an experience where I learned
Yeah.
Because one of my favorite process of watching movies, I love watching actors get into their into their mode. Like everybody is different. Like Amber has a different process. Nalia has a different process. Robert has a different process, and like and it was very interesting watching them all three get into something. Like if Robert messed up and he'll just start over again, and it's like he was like, I don't need to go, I don't need to yell, just hey, I'm going.
Yeah. That has to be helpful, especially on this type of project, to have experienced actors that kind of know their way around. They you don't have to give them a ton of direction. A little push and they're ready to go.
Yep. Very much so. And then they will have questions about what's their motivations and stuff like that. But once you plant an ideal to them, or if they have a certain other ideal, I like to be open to what they have to say, and we figure it out together. And that's where I say that filmmaking is very much a team sport.
Well, it's definitely I have to agree with him. It's very interesting seeing them get into their character because everyone had a different process. I mean, a lot of times I thought that people were talking to me, but they were actually reading their lines. So it's like, or asking me questions, but they were actually questioning themselves, or, and it's just like, it's a different process, and it doesn't take them long once he steps in and it directs them and plants that idea. It doesn't take them long to figure it out. And it's amazing seeing them go from confused to not confused anymore.
Yeah, because I mean, actors they sometimes they need to know why they're feeling the way they're feeling, or they might. I mean, it's just so many different things, and sometimes they answer questions that I'm like, kind of like, what do you see with this? Or sometimes like Robert and Lynn and Amber and Nalia, they all were helpful on some things. Because of course, I have questions too, and sometimes I like to ask people what they think. Because of course I like to make sure that I'm not crazy. And sometimes it's just not here, because sometimes like I will be like, hey Sam, I was thinking this, and she's like, have you thought about this? And I'm like, no, I didn't, but thank you. Let's still that real quick. It's just, I mean, that's the thing though, like filmmaking, I feel like if you have an ego, it's really hard, because I mean, it's all about collaborating. It doesn't, to me, I don't care who has the best ideal. I just care about making the best movie we can make.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to go into the continuity of everything, and then you have to look at that, and then you have to look at that, and he don't think about continuity. So then me and the script supervisor have to tell him, well, if you do it this way, it ain't gonna make sense for the next scene.
Oh yeah, Anna Wooten was on there. Anna, this is her first time being a script supervisor. We got her for intern, but that girl was sharp. So if
awesome.
You listening or you watching and you need a really good script supervisor, Anna Wooten, woot woot.
Is it true that Mark was the most difficult actor you've ever worked with?
Very much so. Mark was super difficult. He never
like Sam, you had to set him down and talk to him like several times.
He didn't make a facial expression. He didn't even blink. I'm kidding.
I was scared. So,
in the right situation, that could work.
Yeah,
exactly.
That was Mark's chilled face. He was just like, "Hey, thank you, man. I'm happy to be here." I thought it was 4:00 in the morning, but like looking at him now, it's exactly.
Yeah, that's him, man. That's him.
Yeah,
super chill guy. Yeah. He would be great playing poker.
Oh yeah, you don't want to play poker with Mark. Have we ever played poker, Mark?
No, you don't want to.
Yeah, no, I don't want to. I can't bluff.
No, I mean, look at his face. You wouldn't know if he's bluffing.
No, you couldn't tell anything.
I'm not bluffing. Right.
So how did you get like I saw Amber and Nalia both had, I mean, they've got multiple projects that they're working on simultaneously. Yeah. So how were you able to coordinate and get them, to film their parts?
Honestly, like when I call Amber, it's not very complicated. We both really trust each other. Nalia was very interesting because originally I reached out to her, and she normally does drama or comedy. This was something very different that Nalia has ever done, and we never worked together. So she was definitely cautious, you can tell, but she was like, she really cared about the story, and she really was like, I want to be a part of this. And you can tell, like, it really, like, when we were on set, it really hit her. It was some scenes that were so intense where some of our crew members had to walk off because they were in tears crying because the acting was too believable.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well,
but again, I wasn't trying to do this to exploit the situation. Sometimes you have to really go there to show people this is happening every day and every second of that day. Somebody's being raped right now in human trafficking. There's children, there's women, I mean, that gone missing and been missing for decades. And it's insane. And it's like the conversation that no one wants to have.
Yeah. Well, and is that part of the thinking with this movie is really to get that type of message out there and start that conversation?
Yes. I mean, because a lot of times when things become uncomfortable in our society, we don't want to talk about it. We'd like to keep things hush hush. And this conversation, I'm hoping what it does by being as blunt and honest as it is, I'm hoping that it sparks conversation, because everything that gets done starts with a conversation. Me and my wife communicate about things. In order for us to get things done, we have to communicate. And I feel like that is the only way to bring our country in unity of, you know, I can't think of anybody in my right state of mind that doesn't agree that rape is wrong. But, you know, no one wants to talk about it. So it's kind of one of those things that hopefully when people watch this and they go and watch this with other people, they come out and they're like, yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? And then they kind of look into that and become more self-aware about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's important. That's important to get that message out there. So Sam, do we see you singing in this movie?
I will be collaborating with somebody, so you'll hear me, not see me. But
yes, she will be collaborating
with Rocky Gray.
Yeah, so Rocky Gray's like Evanescence drummer, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know how exciting that was? I reached out to him and I was geeking out as a fan because Evanescence was my favorite band growing up.
They're terrific.
I remember seeing them play in Louisville, Kentucky when I was a teenager. They played at Ear Ecstasy. I was 19 years old when they played, and I was just so infatuated with their music. Seeing what he can do with just the beats, and he's a super talented guy. And I can only imagine what he's going to do with this movie.
Yeah. So Sam, when you say collaborate, are you guys working on the soundtrack for the movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounded so sarcastic.
Yeah.
You need working with people skills.
Yeah, I'm terrible with
That's your job. She's the hammer.
I'm not. But anyway, but yes, I am working on a soundtrack with him. The process is just beginning because it's usually towards the editing part because we just wrapped the film. But yeah, I'm definitely it's going to be very different for me because I'm actually an R&B singer, and I'm switching genres technically.
That's what artists do.
It's very new, but I know that because of the concept of the film or what the film is about, that part, the lyrics will be easy for me. So
it's a dog barking.
Do you? I hear it. So do you play an instrument? Do you play an instrument as well as sing?
I am terrible at instruments. I can use my voice as an instrument.
Yeah.
But When it comes to playing, I tried piano. I did okay. So when it comes to instruments, no. But
She
I
likes
can
to
use,
sing acapella.
I like to sing acapella,
Ooh, nice.
and I like to explore with my voice in different ways. But I don't. No, forget
Well,
it.
that's why you got Rocky.
In the car, you're right,
Rocky
in the car
playing.
ride. In the car ride, she would just like they love to do karaoke. Her and the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet
love
you're
to
awesome.
sing, but I can't do instruments. No.
No, well, you don't need to. You don't need to. Focus on what you're good at. That's what. That's
Exactly. I can do an instrument.
Bang on the table. I can do that too.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying that's where I live.
I can do beatboxing.
That's what I'm saying. That was my shit growing up.
There you go.
Mark, jump in.
I thought about it. They're doing such a good job. I didn't want to ruin it.
Yeah, you don't want to mess that up. You don't want to mess that up. So
I wonder what Amber
when?
think about that.
Oh yeah. We need to find out. Well, when does Locked In? When can we expect to see that?
It's hard to say because we have gotten some studios that reached out to us. I would like, as of now, how I feel, I would love to explore the festival route and explore all options. I think that would be the logical thing to do, because I feel like everybody put their heart and soul into it. But of course, if an offer comes that I can't refuse.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it's just really hard to say. It's kind of very early. I do know that it should be done with final or post-production by next spring as far as editing. And
that's
then
pretty quick.
We can. Well, our editor was on set. He also did sound. So he kind of really helped me and Charlie figure out how to transition some things and so he know how he would cut it. So
right.
We are, and that's the great thing about a script supervisor too, is when you like a take, you can mark it and you're like, that's the take. So that way when he goes to edit, he knows which to look for.
Yeah.
And just being able to really watch and see all the playbacks and everything, it's like we already went through that process while we were on set. So
yeah, that's pretty great.
The 8 months anyway, so
yeah, unless you're doing a Marvel movie or something.
Well, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm
assuming this movie doesn't have a ton of animation or special.
No,
effects.
CGI, no. I'm gonna see, and that's the thing, not taken away from people who do CGI or anything like that. I'm more of a practical filmmaker. I like to try to do it without doing CGI.
Yeah, I think that's good. So do either one of you or both of you make a cameo in the film?
Not this film.
No.
I almost did. I almost went to the nightclub, but I like to focus on directing. When I first started out, I was a mess. I was acting and directing, and what I've learned when I was doing those things, it's impossible to do both. If I am in front of the camera, I am neglecting not only myself, but I'm neglecting my duties behind the camera, along with I'm supposed to be directing, the actor. So if I'm in the scene with them, I cannot be doing all of the above. And, I know some people do that. I don't see how it's really possible. You can't be two places worried about your performance along with somebody else you're acting with and also directing.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
It is
I saw
tough.
that. I saw that you had played a lot of detectives.
Yeah, no, it kind of just worked out that way. I don't know why that is. It kind of worked out that way.
You look like a sexy detective. Okay.
I guess.
That's good life right there.
It's probably because I'm bald. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe I need to be a detective.
Yep. Sorry, my battery level was with 20% and then the screen goes black. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah. You got to plug that up, man.
Yeah, right. Where's the...
Here, I'll go get it.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you, because we just had this horrible thing happen with Alec Baldwin and the safety on set with the gun. Do you have to work with firearms, and how do you kind of prevent?
No, I don't. To me, it's I know I said I like to be practical, but I also like to be safe. I want to make sure everything is safe and everybody feels safe. So me personally would never use a real firearm on set. I feel like with just like, and I know I'm going to probably sound like I contradict myself here, but there's a lot of programs that can give you a digital effect to make a gun fire look real. So I don't see why today, like in the 50s, you had almost no choice but to do that. But in today's society, sorry, my wife's distracted. Sorry.
Yeah.
Today's society,
he's doing good work.
Today's society with all of the technology and all of that, I feel like it's not necessary.
Yeah.
To shoot that way. That's not taken away from anything with Alec Baldwin again, because I mean, he probably had a certain way to how they wanted to do it, and everybody.
That's right, and it was obviously just a tragic accident. But yeah, I'm just curious how you guys handled that.
Yeah, no, I to me, safety comes first, and I wouldn't be comfortable having a real gun that could possibly be loaded. And hurting somebody. Like with Amber, anything that they were doing, I always wanted to make sure they were comfortable with it. If they weren't comfortable, then we would have came up with a plan B. And you hear about that a lot on set where, some things that are not as safe. And then when the actors voice their concern about it, and then the producers tell them to do it anyway. And then you have that Uma Thurman situation where the car she said it was not safe the whole time. And then she got into that bad car accident. I would have never made somebody do something like that they're not very comfortable with.
So that's another thing. Yeah. So back to what he's saying, that's one of the things with our production that we always do. If I feel like, it could be something as simple as like an actor wearing a gag or something over their face or anything. We usually call them, we have a conversation, we see if they're comfortable with it. If not, then we try to think about another route. But it does boil down to the best route for the film, but we still have that conversation to make sure, or we try to accommodate to where it could be a substitute that they, like if they're allergic to latex or something like that, or it could be anything.
So we try to accommodate to kind of meet in the middle. Yeah. Like Amber Dawn Fox is afraid of bugs, but she had to hold a bug in this movie. And she expressed that she was afraid. Like Nalia, she's like very OCD about germs and stuff like that. So being in a barn and all of that, I was like, you do realize it's going to be like the real thing. It's not going to be no green screen. So we just made sure that we communicated those things with them. And so that way they just don't walk in an unrealistic expectation.
And we provide things, like bug spray and things like that. Things that would make them feel comfortable of being in that environment.
It was too cold for bugs.
Yeah, it was too cold for bugs. But you know what? I got those hand warmers and warmed everybody.
Yeah, that's important.
Well, the bug spray would have worked. I guess they could have got frostbite, but
hilarious. Well, Chase and Sam, this has been terrific. You guys have to come back once the film's coming out so we could talk about it some more.
Oh, very much so. I would love it. This was very fun. This like a podcast. It was just a lot of great laughters, and I love the background there with the Hulk and Jaws and some of my favorite films. Yeah, Chewbacca. That's amazing. And then seeing Amber just hanging out with Mark.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite thing. Is Amber just? I think she needs to be a permanent fixture
still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think?
Like we worked all along. We all worked hard, and I just wanted to thank everybody for putting their blood, sweat, and tears into this project. Definitely a moment I would always cherish forever.
Yeah,
I don't like crying in front of people, so I cried off camera and away from people and at home. But
you're a professional.
I got you on video. Watch the Facebook Live video. She cried.
Yes, I did, because I was really grateful for everybody, and it was a really good experience, and I was so proud of everybody. And I'm terrible at words, but then I just break down and cry. So it's like,
and then when she cries, it's terrible because she always tries to talk while she's crying.
She gets everybody crying, is my guess.
It's kind of one of those really awkward cries. You remember on Hitch when Eva Mendes was with? That's her. She's very unpredictable when she cries.
But no, everybody was respectful. Everybody worked so hard on this, and it made a team and a family, and we all created something really good. And I was really proud of that.
Yeah, that's so great. That's so great. So before you guys go, do you have anything else upcoming outside of Locked In? Beast of the Field, I know is out now. Anything else we can look forward to?
We have a few projects in the works. One is going to be coming out or will be in production next year sometime. But of course, at this time, we cannot go into details. Right.
That's why you have to come back.
Have that Eddie Murphy smile.
Yeah, that's right. That was good. All right, so
it looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger's in the background saying, "Get to the chopper!
Get to the chopper!" So go through all the social media stuff and where we can find Beast of the Field.
Beast of the Field right now is on Prime, and of course soon it should be released on other platforms. I have not got the email yet as where all of that's going to be. Sometimes you just have to wait on when all of the platforms get back to you. But Payday is on Amazon Prime, and is on Tubi TV, is on IMDb TV, is on YouTube Red, is on Google Play. It was on Hulu for a while.
Yeah, nice. That's pretty good. So where can we go to find out about what you guys have going on? What's your social media?
Add me on Chase Dudley Directors page. Cut to the Chase Productions. You can actually like the Locked In page, and we are in the process of creating a Locked In website.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty good. So you got all of it covered.
Oh, of course, you have to.
And all of our links and stuff are on there to our websites, our stores, and everything.
Perfect.
It's mostly on Cut to the Chase Productions, most of that stuff. And then you'll find links to his page, and then my page, and then all the other pages.
The stuff.
Yeah, she wanted to kiss me just now. Thought about it. She thought about it. I see that.
I felt like it was getting kind of steamy.
Yeah, it was that notebook. She looked at me like, nah. All
right, guys, hold on 1 second. All right, so that was Chase and Sam Dudley. I love the fact that they're so passionate about what they're doing.
Yeah, definitely so. And they, it's interesting watching them on set because they do make a good team. But it's, I was going to give her a hard time about that. Like when we were talking about the gun part, I was going to say, well, you don't need a loaded gun when you're carrying a hammer, But I mean,
you should have jumped in there.
It was a good time, but I could tell. I was like, oh, this is not going to end well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so you told me she had to pull a couple of them aside and straighten them out, right?
Yeah, she does a good job, man. It was really cool. I appreciated every bit of that. So
I have a feeling that what you're not telling me is it was you. It was you that got pulled aside.
No, it wasn't me. I had too many other things going on.
Yeah. I don't want to give away the scene, but yeah, it sounded like you were occupied.
Yeah.
Yeah. With your truck driving or whatever you were doing.
Yeah.
No, they were great. And of course we love Amber. She's been on the show before. She's terrific.
Yeah.
But it sounded like a really great cast. And that's really cool that you got to go out there and meet the cast and socialize and actually be in it a little bit.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a good time.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
the people that I took with me weren't too upset. They enjoyed it. So that was good.
That's good. Well, okay. So let's wrap it up. Go through what you've got going on currently with the dead cards and where we can go to find out more, because I'm a big fan of the product, and it just seems like your stuff gets better and better.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I just finished up with Jess Norvisgard, The Good Things Devils Do. We finished that setup with and that was with artist Justin Born Boring, and we finished up the 12 card set. It's a 9-card core set with 3 add-on cards. But everything, I don't know if you've seen those, but they turned out really well. There's some really sharp cards there. So
yeah, they're really nice. They're really nice. And of course we're big fans of Jess as well. We got to have some of the cast on
right
the show as well, and that was a blast. And that's one I actually managed to watch and hang in there, because I struggle with the scary stuff, but I hung in there. It was really good, really good. Yeah.
They
so
did a good job.
What's your website? Go through that. Goes through the social media stuff.
It's easy. It's thedeadcards.com. Everything social media at the Dead Cards. That's Facebook. I'm on Instagram, kinda. Sorta.
You've been getting on there some.
I try, man. It's a full-time job keeping up with
It
those
is,
things.
man.
And
It
when
is.
you have a full-time job, it's kind of hard to have 2 full-time jobs with
That's right.
the third
It's not-
part-time job.
It's not,
So-
being an influencer is not easy.
That's right. But yeah, the website, I mean, I've been working on that for a while. Don't know what I'm doing, but it's set up, and I've actually gotten a lot of compliments on it. So I was like, okay,
Yeah, no,
I guess
your
maybe
website's great, man. It's
Yes,
terrific.
I may have hit the mark by accident, but it's out there. I try to get everybody to go there to look at everything that's available. I try not to post as much on social media because it's easier to put everything in one spot.
That's right.
So,
That's right. Yeah, no, I think it's terrific, and you just keep getting better at it. So yeah, I definitely recommend that
appreciate that.
everybody checks you out. Especially, if you're kind of a horror fan, you've got some just stuff that nobody else has. It's things that if you're a fan, you can get those cards and take those to shows and get them signed. It's very unique. I just absolutely recommend it.
Well, yeah, I think what some people don't really realize, and I'm working on this, getting it out there, but I started out geared more towards actors, directors, people trying to basically publicize and promote. So actors can come to me, they can get a custom trading card, and it's easy to take these to the shows. The directors are getting into it, and I've had a lot of interest there. And it's kind of cool to have a full collection of your characters from your movie on a set of trading cards.
Sure it is.
So you're not going to get Tops to come down and say, hey, let me take on this indie project,
Right.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
So.
it's unique. It's unique. I think it's terrific. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in again this week. Really appreciate that. If you haven't done it yet, go check out Beast of the Field. It's on is it Beast of the Field? Beast of the Field. I said Field. Beast of the Field.
Yes.
It's on Amazon Prime right now. Looks terrific. I've just started. I got about 30 minutes in. It's been great so far. So definitely check that out. Keep an eye out for Locked In. You can help us out if you're a fan of the podcast. If this is your first time listening, either one. If you haven't went to YouTube yet under MeisterCon Pod, we'd really appreciate the subscription. You can find all 300 plus episodes, audio and video, on our website, meistercon.com. So please check that out as well. So don't go anywhere, Mark.
And these podcasts are great, by the way. You do a fantastic job. You do a fantastic job.
Yeah, I really appreciate that.
So,
you should listen to Mark. Be more
That's
like
right.
Mark.
right.
All right, don't go anywhere. Bye, everybody.
All right. See you.